Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selma if you're new here. I'm turning my apartment into a cafe again this week. So excited. We're having our pre-Christmas party and the theme is a Christmas cafe. I have planned a whole menu for us. We're gonna do both savory and sweet treats, and then we'll also make hot chocolate with homemade marshmallow fluff in a Christmas mocktail. It's Wednesday today and the party is on Saturday, but this time I'm starting the food preparations a bit earlier so I won't feel as rushed and stressed out. So the plan for today is to prep the gingerbread cookie dough because it needs time to set in the fridge overnight, and then we'll make fancy ice cubes for the Christmas mocktail. And then I'm also gonna make the food labels, and then we need to go to the grocery store to get all the ingredients for the rest of the foods. And then we're also gonna go to IKEA to find cute glasses for the mocktails because I don't have any cocktail or wine glasses. So we'll see what we can find, but I'm gonna take you guys along. But let's start by making the ice cubes because that's a quick and easy thing we can take off the to-do list. For the ice cubes, we need orange slices, cinnamon sticks, star anise, rosemary, and then pomegranate seeds or cranberries and water. Now we're just gonna add all the ingredients into this big ice cube tray. Another one of these ice cube trays, so we're going to repeat the process and then we're going to pop these into the freezer to set. Next we're going to prep the gingerbread cookie dough. For that we need butter, brown sugar or coconut sugar, gingerbread spice mix, an egg, dark syrup, all-purpose flour. I'm using gluten-free all-purpose flour, but if you're not celiac, intolerant to gluten, or IBS sufferer, you can of course use wheat flour in my recipes. And lastly, we need baking soda. We're gonna start by adding the butter, sugar, the spice mix, and the syrup into a pot and let the mixture simmer for a few minutes. I let the sugar butter mixture cool down, and now we're gonna add an egg, and then we stir. And next we'll add the flour, and lastly we'll add the baking soda, and then we just stir to combine. Here's the ready dough. We're gonna cover it with plastic wrap, and we're gonna let this set in the fridge overnight. I just wrote down the grocery list for all the foods we need. A fun activity we're gonna do at the party is gingerbread house decorating competition. And now I'm thinking, what do we need for that? So we're gonna get these ready gingerbread house kits that have all the cookie parts you need for building a house. But then we need something to glue them together. I usually use marshmallows because when you put them into the microwave, they'll turn into very sticky things. So it's perfect for gluing the parts together. So we're gonna get marshmallows and then icing and all kinds of candy for decoration. We have our couple friends coming over, so every couple gets to build a house together. I think it will be so fun, and you'll get to choose which house looks the best and who's the winner, and then the winner will get an award. Besides the foods, we'll need the glasses for the mocktails, and then I would like to get red ribbon because I want to set the table nicely, and this is my inspiration. We're not gonna do a tablecloth, but I would want to get placemats because we have a new kitchen table, so I would want to put something on it to protect the table. So placemats would be nice. We do have a big red and white tablecloth, but I think we'll use that when everyone is building their gingerbread house because I think that will get messy. But first, let's go to IKEA and see what we can find. These are the glasses I looked at online, I think we're gonna get these. The table mat selection here in IKEA is not very good, so we're gonna go to an H&M store to see if they have better options. We got the glasses for the mocktails, and then we got 2 more mugs because we only had 4 at home. The only placemats here are these and these, and they're not really our vibe, so we need to keep searching. Their plates and all the Christmas decor is so nice, like this candy jar. So cute. This store might have more placemats as well as the red ribbon we need. It's now Thursday. We got all the groceries yesterday. Well, there are a couple of things we need to get on Friday, but those are foods that would have gone bad if we would have bought them already yesterday. Then we found these glasses and the red ribbon, but we did not find nice placemats, but that's all right. Hopefully the table won't get any scratches or stains. Today we're going to make super easy no-bake snowman cake pops. They're made of just Oreos and cream cheese, and then we're gonna let them set in the freezer and we're gonna decorate them tomorrow. We're also gonna bake the gingerbread cookies and decorate them, as well as make a traditional Finnish bread recipe that is eaten especially during Christmas time. It's called saaristuasleipä. And then I didn't have time yesterday to make the food labels, so I'm gonna try to get those done also today. Let's start with the cake pops. First, we're just gonna blend Oreo style cookies. I added the cookie crumble to this bowl, and next we're gonna add the cream cheese. Now we just roll the mixture into bowls. We're making 8 snowmen, so we need 8 bigger bowls and 8 smaller ones. I melted some white chocolate. Now we're gonna dip the sticks. I'm using popsicle sticks in the white chocolate, so that way they stick to the cake balls. Then we need to dip the tip of the stick again in the chocolate. And then we'll place them on a plate lined with parchment paper. And repeat the process for the rest of the cake balls. Now we're gonna let the cake pops set in the freezer overnight. The ice cubes we made yesterday are already set. These look so good. I need the top drawer for the cake pops, so I moved the ice cubes here. Next, we're gonna bake the gingerbread cookies. Next, I'm gonna use cookie cutters to cut the cookies into different shapes. Now we're gonna bake the cookies at 200 Celsius, 390 Fahrenheit for about 8 minutes. The bigger ones might take a bit longer. I let the cookies cool down, and now we're gonna add the decorations. And here are the ready cookies. I think these gingerbread cookies turn out really pretty. So now we're gonna make the traditional Finnish bread. So it's called saaristolaisleipä. The direct translation would be archipelago bread. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but it's not a traditional fluffy white bread, but instead it has a pretty firm, moist texture, and it has a sweet flavor to it, and it's a very dark bread. It gets the dark color from rye flour, malted flour, and then dark syrup. But I'm making a gluten-free version of it. So to get that malty flavor and dark color, I'm gonna add gluten-free dark beer and buckwheat flour in the syrup. Every Christmas, my godmother bakes my family this bread, and her secret ingredient is orange juice. Last week, I tried baking this bread for the first time, and I only used orange juice, but since I didn't have the traditional rye flour, malted flour, I didn't get that typical dark color to the bread. So this time for liquids, we're using half gluten-free dark beer and half orange juice. We'll see how this goes. We're gonna start by mixing the beer and orange juice with the dry yeast and psyllium husk powder, which is the secret ingredient to making great gluten-free bread. What does this smell like? Oof. So we need 1 cup of the beer and 1 cup of also the orange juice. Then we'll add the dry yeast and 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk powder. And then we stir. And now we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes. Now we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. We need oats and buckwheat flour and ground flax seeds and gluten-free all-purpose flour and salt. And lastly, the dark syrup. And then we're gonna mix it with a mixer for 5 minutes. Here's the ready dough. Now we're gonna cover the bowl with plastic wrap. And we're gonna let this rise overnight in the fridge. Now I'm gonna make the food labels. So I'm gonna set all the foods on our kitchen island again. I want to make labels that will then go in front of each food, so then everyone knows what all the foods are. Here are all the ready labels. It was a productive day, but we still have a lot to do tomorrow and on Saturday. The plan for tomorrow is to bake the bread, and then we're gonna finish the cake pops, and then we're gonna make the brownies, but we're gonna decorate them on Saturday. It's now Friday, the day before the cafe opens. I thought we could start by finishing the Snowman cake pops. I just melted lots of white chocolate. I added some coconut oil to it to make it runnier, so it's easier to dip the cake pops in it. Then I also melted a little bit of dark chocolate, and I'll use this to make the eyes and mouth and buttons. And then I cut these out of persimmon, and these will be the noses. Then we're just gonna dip the cake pops in the white chocolate. Great, my hands are covered in the chocolate, but it looks good. I poured the chocolate into a glass, so let's see if this is easier. This was a lot easier. I put the melted dark chocolate into a small Ziploc bag and pushed all the chocolate into one of the corners, and now I'm just going to cut a small hole. So I'm going to use this as a piping bag. I dip the nose in white chocolate so that way it sticks to the cake pops. Here are the ready cake pops. These turn out so cute. I had to do a taste test, so I took a bite of one of these and these are so yummy. I store these cake pops in the fridge in these glass containers. I line the containers with parchment paper so they won't stick to the containers. Next, we're gonna make brownies. I make these Christmas brownies every year. We're gonna add the decorations tomorrow, but this is how they're gonna look like. First, we're gonna whisk together melted butter and sugar. Next, we're gonna add 2 eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then we'll whisk again for about 1 minute. Next, we're gonna add unsweetened cacao powder, all-purpose flour, pinch of salt, and a little bit of baking powder. And then we just stir. Next, we're gonna pour the batter into a small greased cake pan. I also lined the bottom of the pan with parchment paper. Next, we're gonna bake the brownies for about 30 minutes. Here's the bread dough we made yesterday. It has risen very much. Now we're gonna spoon it into a loaf pan. While the brownies are in the oven, we're gonna let this rise at room temperature for 30 minutes. Next, we're gonna bake the bread for about 45 minutes. When there's 10 minutes left, we're gonna brush it with syrup water mixture. It gives it this kind of glossy crust. This sweet malty bread probably sounds crazy to you, but I would love to know what are some traditional Christmas foods in your country, so let me know in the comments. Here are the ready brownies. I'm gonna let them cool down in the pan. Here's the ready bread. It looks really good. It rose a lot more in the oven than last week. Now I'm gonna let it cool down in the pan. We just cleaned up the whole apartment and I put some things ready here for tomorrow. Here we have all the decorations for the gingerbread houses and the house kits are there, as well as the food labels. Then I put the glasses here on this tray and I'm gonna add the bows tomorrow. And this is the tablecloth we have. We're gonna put it on the table when everyone is decorating their houses. And then tomorrow we still need to make the Christmas stars, the focaccia, top the bread with the salmon. Then we need to decorate the brownies, make the muffins, and make the homemade marshmallow fluff. So there's a lot to do, and then we need to set everything up nicely on the kitchen island. So I'll see you early tomorrow morning. Good morning. We have a very busy day, so let's get straight to it. First, we're gonna make the rosemary focaccia. I have some hot water here. I'm gonna pour it into a bowl. Then we're gonna add dry yeast and stir. Next, we're gonna add olive oil. And maple syrup and salt. And then we stir again. Next, we're gonna add flour. And lastly, chopped fresh rosemary. This recipe is super easy because you can mix everything together just with a spoon. Next, we're gonna spoon the dough into a baking pan lined with parchment paper. Now we're gonna let it rise uncovered for about 30 minutes. While the focaccia is rising, we're gonna make my healthier, fluffy gingerbread chocolate chip muffins. For those, we need eggs, unsweetened yogurt, some maple syrup, olive oil, a little bit of vanilla extract, all-purpose flour, and almond flour, then some gingerbread spice mix and cinnamon, baking soda, and dark chocolate chips. Now we'll just spoon the batter into muffin pan cavities lined with muffin liners. Lastly, we're gonna add some dark chocolate chips on top. Next, we're gonna bake the muffins for about 20 minutes. Next, we're gonna drizzle some olive oil on top. Next, we're gonna poke holes into the dough with our fingers. Next, we're gonna add some salt on top. We're gonna decorate it with fresh herbs and pomegranate seeds to make them look like mistletoes. Then we're gonna brush the herbs with some olive oil so they won't burn. Now we're gonna bake the focaccia for about 35 minutes. Here are the ready muffins. They look so fluffy. We have one extra muffin, so let's see how they look on the inside. It looks so good, super soft and chocolatey. Next, we're gonna make Finnish Christmas stars. They're a traditional Christmas dessert here in Finland, but we're gonna make a savory version. Typically, the Christmas stars are made of puff pastry and prune jam, but we're gonna add pesto, crumbled feta, and cherry tomatoes on top. Here we have puff pastry cut into squares, and now we're gonna cut the corners like this. And next, we're gonna fold every other piece to the center. Now they look like this. Whoops. Next, we're gonna add pesto on top and crumbled feta and cherry tomatoes. Now we're gonna bake these for about 12 minutes. I made a separate pan with my gluten-free versions. Next, we're gonna decorate the brownies. I made a simple frosting of whipped cream, cream cheese, powdered sugar, and vanilla, and I divided it into 3 bowls. We're gonna add a little bit of cacao powder to this bowl, a few drops of green dye to this bowl. Now I think it's good. This will be for our Christmas tree brownies. Now we're gonna cut the brownies into 8 slices. And then we're just gonna add the decorations on top. These brownies turn out so cute. And they're so fudgy and yummy. Next, we're gonna make homemade marshmallow fluff. First, we're gonna add 2 egg whites into a bowl. And half a teaspoon of lemon juice. And then we whisk until soft peaks form. Now it should look like this. Next to a pot, we're gonna add some sugar and maple syrup and a little bit of water. And then we stir. And now we're gonna let it simmer, but we're not gonna stir it. The syrup is ready when it's 150 Celsius and 240 Fahrenheit. Now it's almost ready. And now we carefully pour the syrup into the bowl while mixing at the same time. Now we're gonna keep whisking until it's nice and fluffy. And lastly, we're gonna add half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. The ready fluff should look like this. Here are the ready snowmen. These turn out so fun. And also just top the homemade bread with butter, cold smoked salmon, and some dill. We're now in a bit of a rush. We have 20 minutes left. I'm gonna make the mocktail mix, so we need sparkling water and cranberry juice or pomegranate juice. And then a little bit of orange juice and a little bit of edible glitter. And then we stir. It is sparkly, but I don't know if you can see it. But now we need to set everything up before the guests arrive. we set up all the gingerbread house kits on the table and all the decorations, and now the competition can begin.
So here's my house. Beautiful. A few highlights. So central heating, the heart of the house. Then I have a fish with a life belt. Then I park my truck here behind the house. What else do we have here? Here's a parrot.
Wait, show the parrot.
There's my parrot, and then I have an inhabitant looking out of the window, or an elf maybe, and then I have a gorilla and a hippo.
Nice. Good job.
Vote for Aaron.
So this is our house. We don't have highlights.
But it's pretty.
No, we have highlight. The heart.
Yes. Very nice.
So if you have heart, you vote for it.
This is our house. We wanted to make a beautiful house and we used some patterns and then the red as the accent color. So if you like beautiful stuff, vote for us.
It is very pretty.
This is our house and Gingerman lives here.
Show the other side.
Vote for Gingerman.
So vote in the comments who you think should win the competition, so I'll give the winners an award. Definitely recommend doing a gingerbread house decorating competition with your friends or family, because it was the best part. I'll add all the recipes I can fit to the description box as always. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my new videos. See you next week. Bye!